Difficulties in life are intended to make us better, not bitter. Think about that for a moment. Every challenge, every obstacle, every setback, these are not here to destroy you. They are here to test you, to shape you, to see what you're truly capable of. The problem is, most people don't see it that way. They see difficulty as a reason to stop. They think if something is hard, it means they aren't meant to do it. But that's the wrong mindset. That's the thinking that keeps people stuck, that keeps them from ever reaching their full potential. The truth is, difficult moments are the defining moments. They are the moments that separate those who rise from those who fall. They are the moments where you decide whether you are going to break or break through, and the way you handle difficulty determines everything. Your success, your growth, your future. You can let it hold you back, or you can use it as fuel to push forward. Right now, you might be going through something tough. Maybe life is testing you in ways you never expected. Maybe you feel like giving up, but before you do, before you let doubt take over, I want you to stay with me, because today, we're going to change the way you see difficulty. By the end of this, you won't just know how to handle the hard times. You'll know how to use them to your advantage. Let's begin. Number 1. Train yourself to stay calm under extreme pressure. Most people crumble under pressure. They let emotions take over. They panic. They make mistakes. And later they regret how they reacted. But there's another way. A way that separates those who struggle from those who rise above. Because in the moments when everything is on the line, the ability to stay calm is what decides who wins and who loses. Think about the last time you were under serious pressure. Maybe it was a tough conversation. Maybe it was a financial crisis. Maybe it was a situation where everything in your life felt like it was about to collapse. What happened? Did you stay in control, or did the pressure take control of you? Because that right there is the difference. Some people let pressure dictate their actions. Others train themselves to handle it. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Staying calm under extreme pressure isn't a personality trait. It's not something you're born with. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be developed. But the problem is, most people don't train for it. They expect to just handle difficult situations when they come, without ever preparing for them. That's like expecting to lift 300 pounds without ever stepping into a gym. It doesn't work like that. If you want to handle pressure, you have to train for it. The first thing you need to understand is that pressure is never the real problem. The real problem is your reaction to it. The moment stress hits, most people tense up, their breathing gets shallow, their thoughts race, they get overwhelmed, and suddenly they're making decisions based on fear, not intelligence. That's what destroys people in high-stakes moments. But if you train yourself to respond differently, to stay calm instead of panicking, everything changes. So how do you do it? How do you train yourself to stay calm when the world is throwing everything at you? The first step is awareness. You have to catch yourself in the moment when stress starts to take over. Most people don't even realize when they're panicking. Their emotions spike, and they just react. But if you can catch that split second, where you feel the pressure rising, you give yourself a chance to control it. That's the difference between being a victim of pressure and mastering it. The second step is controlling your breathing. This isn't some empty advice. This is science. When you're under pressure, your body goes into fight or flight mode. Your heart rate speeds up. Your muscles tighten. Your brain prepares for danger. And if you let that response take over, you'll start making emotional decisions. But if you take control of your breathing, you send a signal to your body that says, I'm in control. You slow down your heart rate. You relax your muscles. And suddenly, you're thinking clearly again. Try this the next time stress hits. Take a slow, deep breath. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Repeat. And feel what happens. The pressure doesn't disappear, but your reaction to it changes. The third step is training your mind to focus only on what you can control. Pressure makes people spiral. They start worrying about all the things that could go wrong. They obsess over problems that are out of their hands. And that kind of thinking only makes stress worse. But the truth is, There's only ever one thing you control in any situation: your response. That's it. The problem. Maybe you can't change it. The people involved. Maybe you can't control them. But you can control how you handle it. And when you focus all your energy on that, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. Now here's something most people never talk about. Staying calm under pressure isn't just about what you do in the moment. It's about how you train yourself when there's no pressure. Because the way you live your life daily is what determines how you handle stress when it really counts. If you're constantly reacting emotionally to small problems, how do you think you'll handle the big ones? If every minor inconvenience throws you off track, what happens when life really tests you? This is why mental endurance is so important. You need to expose yourself to controlled pressure daily. Do things that make you uncomfortable. Push yourself beyond what feels easy. Put yourself in situations where you have to stay calm, even when your instincts tell you to panic. Because the more you train in controlled stress, the more natural it becomes when the real thing hits. And let's be clear about something. Pressure isn't going anywhere. You will be tested. You will face moments where everything in you wants to react emotionally. And in those moments, your training will either save you or destroy you. If you've trained yourself to stay calm, you'll make clear decisions. You'll think strategically. You'll come out stronger. But if you haven't prepared, you'll collapse under the weight of the moment. That's what separates those who rise from those who fall. There's something powerful about being the person who stays calm when everyone else is losing their minds. The person who thinks clearly when others are panicking. The person who doesn't let pressure shake them. Because that person, the one who stays in control, that's the person who always comes out on top. So let me ask you, who do you want to be? The one who breaks under pressure, or the one who handles it like a pro? The choice is yours. But understand this, calmness under pressure isn't luck. It's not magic. It's not something you wake up with one day. It's something you train for. It's something you build, step by step, day by day. And when you develop it, you become untouchable. No situation will ever control you again. Because you'll know no matter what happens, you are in control. Number 2. Redefine failure as data, not defeat. Failure is one of the biggest reasons people stop chasing their goals. They hit a wall, they fall short, and instead of trying again, they quit. They take it personally. They start believing they're not good enough. But what if I told you that failure isn't the enemy? What if I told you that failure is actually the most valuable thing that can happen to you, if you know how to use it? Most people think failure means they've lost, that it's a sign they should stop, that they weren't meant to do something. That's the biggest mistake you can make, because failure isn't a stop sign. It's not a label that defines you. It's just data, information, feedback. And the only people who truly lose in life are the ones who refuse to learn from it. Think about it. Every time you fail, you're getting valuable information. You're learning what didn't work. You're seeing what needs to change. You're gaining knowledge that you didn't have before. But the problem is, most people don't see failure that way. Instead of looking at what they can learn, they see it as proof that they're not capable. And that's where they go wrong. Because the ones who succeed, the ones who make it, are the ones who take that failure, analyze it, and use it to make better decisions next time. Take a second and imagine a scientist working on a breakthrough experiment. Let's say they try something and it doesn't work. Do you think they throw everything away and walk out of the lab saying, "Well, I guess I'm just not meant to be a scientist"? Of course not. They take notes. They figure out what went wrong. They adjust, and then they try again. They treat failure like data, not defeat. And because of that mindset, they eventually get results. Now apply that same thinking to your life. Maybe you tried a business and it failed. Maybe you started something new and it didn't work out the way you planned. Maybe you gave something your all and it still wasn't enough. The question is, are you going to walk away, or are you going to take the data from that experience and use it to get better? Because that's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. The ones who quit think failure is the end. The ones who succeed know that failure is just another step forward, if they pay attention to what it's teaching them. One of the most powerful things you can do is start treating failure like a test. If you failed, Don't get emotional about it. Don't let it crush you. Instead, break it down. Ask yourself, what went wrong? Where did I miscalculate? What could I have done differently? What did this failure teach me that I didn't know before? When you do this, you're not just failing, you're learning. And every lesson gets you closer to success. But most people don't want to do this. You know why? Because it's easier to complain. It's easier to feel sorry for yourself. It's easier to give up than it is to take responsibility and make adjustments. But if you want to win, you don't get to choose what's easy. You have to choose what works. And what works is using every failure as a stepping stone, not a stopping point. Look at anyone who has ever achieved anything significant. Look at the athletes, the business leaders, the innovators, the people who changed the world. You'll notice one thing they all have in common. They failed, and they failed a lot. But they didn't let failure define them. They used it. They collected data. They adjusted. They got back up. And eventually they won. So the next time you fail, don't make it personal. Don't turn it into a story about how you're not good enough. Instead, look at it like an experiment. What did you try? Why didn't it work? What needs to change? What will you do differently next time? If you start looking at failure this way, everything changes. Because now failure isn't something to be afraid of. It's something that makes you smarter, stronger, and better prepared for success. The truth is, most people never get past their first few failures. They quit before they ever give themselves a real chance to succeed. But what if you didn't? What if instead of stopping, you studied your failures? What if instead of letting them crush you, you used them to improve? Where would you be a year from now? 5 years from now? Because I guarantee you this, if you learn from every failure, if you treat them like data instead of defeat, you will get where you want to go. It's only a matter of time. So don't fear failure. Expect it. Welcome it. Learn from it. And most importantly, use it. Because the ones who do, they're the ones who make it to the top. Number 3, build mental endurance through intentional hardship. Most people want to be strong. They want to be able to handle anything life throws at them. But when challenges come, when life gets tough, they break down. They feel overwhelmed. They look for a way out. That's because mental endurance isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And the only way to build it is by intentionally putting yourself through difficulty. The truth is, if you never challenge yourself, if you never go beyond what's comfortable, you will always be weak when it matters most. You will always be controlled by your emotions, by stress, by pressure. But if you make the decision to face difficulty on purpose, if you put yourself in situations that force you to adapt and grow, you become someone who can handle anything. And when the real challenges of life come, the ones you didn't expect, the ones that test you to your core, you'll be ready. This is why the most successful people in the world are the ones who seek out difficulty. They don't wait for life to test them. They test themselves. They wake up early when they don't feel like it. They push their bodies when they want to stop. They work harder than necessary. They take on challenges that scare them. They train themselves to handle discomfort, so that when life throws something unexpected their way, they don't panic. They don't crumble. They've already built the endurance to handle it. Mental endurance is just like physical endurance. If you never push your body, it stays weak. If you never push your mind, it does the same. If you've never forced yourself to keep going when you wanted to quit, then the first time life puts pressure on you, you won't know what to do. But if you've practiced pushing through pain, if you've learned to keep going when it's uncomfortable, then when real adversity comes, you'll be strong enough to handle it. This is why it's so important to create difficulty for yourself. Because if you don't, life will. And when it does, you won't be prepared. But if you train yourself now, if you put yourself through challenges on purpose, when the real tests come, you'll be ready. You won't be controlled by fear. You won't be thrown off by pressure. You'll be the kind of person who can stay focused and keep moving forward no matter what. Most people never do this. Most people stay in their comfort zones. They avoid anything that feels hard. They avoid situations that make them uncomfortable. And because of that, they never build the strength they need. The first time they face real difficulty, they break down, they quit, they make excuses, and they wonder why life is so hard. But it's not life that's hard. It's that they never trained themselves to handle it. The good news is, you don't have to be like that. You can make the choice today to start building mental endurance. You can make the choice to face difficulty instead of running from it. And it doesn't have to be something huge. It starts with small things. Maybe you wake up an hour earlier than usual, even when you don't feel like it. Maybe you do one more set at the gym when your body is tired. Maybe you push through an hour of work when you feel like quitting. Every time you choose to keep going when it's uncomfortable, you're training yourself. You're strengthening your mind. And over time you'll notice something. The things that used to feel difficult won't feel as hard anymore. The things that used to stress you out won't have the same power over you. You'll become the kind of person who doesn't just survive challenges, you thrive in them. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's endurance. It's the ability to keep going when most people stop. It's the ability to push through discomfort instead of looking for the easy way out. And that's something you can build. That's something you can control. So if you want to be strong, if you want to be someone who can handle anything, start training yourself now. Put yourself in difficult situations on purpose. Challenge yourself every single day. Do things that make you uncomfortable. Because the stronger you get now, the easier life will be later. And when the real challenges come, you won't have to wonder if you can handle them. You'll know, because you've already built the endurance to succeed. Number 4, detach from temporary pain. Focus on long-term gain. Pain is temporary. Struggle is temporary. Frustration, exhaustion, disappointment. None of these feelings last forever. But do you know what does last? The results of pushing through. The growth, the success, the transformation that happens when you refuse to let short-term discomfort stop you. That stays with you. That becomes a part of you. But most people don't think this way. They let the pain of the moment control them. They give up when things get hard. They walk away when they feel uncomfortable. They make decisions based on how they feel right now, instead of where they want to be in the future. And that's why they stay stuck. That's why they never reach the next level. If you want to do something great with your life, you have to stop letting pain make your decisions. You have to detach from the temporary discomfort and focus on what really matters, the long-term gain. Because pain is always part of the process. Struggle is always part of the journey. No one reaches success without going through hard times. No one builds something great without first dealing with frustration, setbacks, and moments of doubt. That's just how it works. The people who succeed are the ones who understand this. They know that pain is just a step along the way. They don't let it stop them. They don't let temporary discomfort make them forget why they started. They see the big picture. They stay focused on where they're going, not how hard it feels right now. And that's the mindset you need. Because the truth is, most of what you think is unbearable is just temporary. Most of the things that make you want to quit today won't even matter a few months from now. But if you give up, if you walk away every time things get hard, then you'll never see what's possible. You'll never know how much you could have accomplished if you had just pushed through. Think about the last time you quit something. Maybe it was a workout. Maybe it was a project. Maybe it was a goal you set for yourself. But you gave up when it got tough. At that moment, stopping felt like relief. But how did you feel later? Were you proud of quitting? Or did you wish you had just kept going? That's the problem with letting pain dictate your decisions. It makes quitting feel like the right choice in the moment. But later, you regret it. Later you look back and wish you had been stronger. And here's the thing, pain isn't always a bad thing. Pain is part of growth. When you push through something difficult, you don't just get the results. You get the strength that comes from enduring it. You get the discipline. You get the confidence of knowing that you can handle hard things. Every time you push past a moment of pain, you get stronger. And that strength, that's what separates winners from everyone else. That's what builds champions. Most people don't see it this way. Most people think pain is a sign to stop. They think struggle means something is wrong. They believe if something is hard, it's not meant for them. That's why most people stay stuck. That's why they never reach their potential. They let the discomfort of the moment destroy their future. But the truth is, the harder something is, the more valuable it is. If it were easy, everyone would do it. If there were no pain, no struggle, no frustration, then success wouldn't mean anything. The reason success is valuable is because it's difficult. It's because most people aren't willing to go through the discomfort required to get there. And that's the opportunity. You can separate yourself just by being the person who refuses to quit. So how do you do that? How do you train yourself to stop reacting to pain and start focusing on the long-term reward? You build the habit of endurance. You practice pushing through discomfort. You train yourself to keep going, even when you don't feel like it. And the more you do it, the stronger you become. Start small. The next time you feel like quitting something, whether it's a workout, a project, a goal, pause. Remind yourself that the discomfort is temporary. Remind yourself that if you stop now, you'll just be trading this pain for the pain of regret later. Instead of quitting, keep going for just a little longer. Push yourself past the moment when you would normally stop. Do this every day, and over time, you'll train your mind to stop giving in to temporary pain. You'll develop the ability to keep going, no matter what. And once you master this, everything changes. Because suddenly, you're no longer controlled by emotions. You're no longer making decisions based on how you feel in the moment. You're making decisions based on what's best for your future. You're thinking long-term. You're acting like the person you want to become, not the person you were. And here's the truth. Once you learn how to endure pain, nothing can stop you. You'll become dangerous. You'll become the kind of person who doesn't give up, no matter what. And when you have that mindset, there is nothing you can't achieve. So don't let temporary discomfort stop you from building the life you want. Don't let short-term pain make you forget about long-term rewards. Push through. Keep going. Train yourself to see pain as part of the process, not a reason to quit. Because once you do that, success is inevitable. Number 5. Develop a no-nonsense approach to obstacles. Life doesn't care about your excuses. Success doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The world doesn't slow down just because you're struggling. You either push through or you stay stuck. You either figure it out or you get left behind. That's the reality. And if you want to be someone who actually achieves something great, you need a no-nonsense approach to obstacles. You need to stop overthinking, stop hesitating, stop waiting for things to get easier. You need to develop the mindset of someone who doesn't make excuses, someone who doesn't get emotional about problems, just someone who gets things done. Most people don't think this way. Most people see an obstacle and immediately start looking for a way out. They start searching for reasons why it's too hard, why they can't do it, why it's not their fault. They get caught up in frustration, self-doubt, and complaining. And all that energy, it's wasted. All that mental effort could have been used to actually solve the problem, but instead it gets used to justify failure. And that's why they never break through. That's why they stay stuck in the same place, year after year, wondering why nothing is changing. If you want to be different, if you want to rise above the average, then you have to train yourself to see obstacles in a new way. You can't see them as roadblocks. You can't see them as signs to stop. You have to see them as part of the process. You have to expect them. Because here's the truth. There is no path to success that doesn't involve obstacles. No one reaches the top without going through hard times, without getting knocked down, without being tested. That's just how it works. And the people who make it, they're the ones who accept that. They don't waste time complaining. They don't let themselves feel sorry for themselves. They don't get caught up in what's fair or unfair. They just get to work. They see the problem, and instead of hesitating, they start looking for solutions. Instead of making excuses, they take action. That's the mindset you need. A no-nonsense approach to obstacles. Because at the end of the day, no one cares about your excuses. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success just because you want it. You either figure it out or you don't. You either keep going or you quit. And if you want to be successful, quitting isn't an option. Complaining isn't an option. Hesitating isn't an option. You need to develop the habit of moving forward, no matter what. When you hit a challenge, you don't freeze. You don't get emotional. You don't start looking for an easy way out. You focus, you adapt, you find a way. And if there isn't a way, you make one. That's what separates winners from everyone else. Think about the most successful people in the world. They didn't get there by avoiding obstacles. They got there by pushing through them. They built their success on persistence, on refusing to stop, on doing whatever it took to figure things out. That's the mindset you need. Every time you face a challenge, remind yourself, it's not an excuse to quit, it's an opportunity to get better. It's a test. And how you handle it determines whether you stay where you are or move forward. Most people let their emotions control them. They hit an obstacle, and immediately feel frustrated. They let that frustration cloud their judgment. They start thinking about how unfair it is, how hard it is, how tired they are. And that mental weakness, that's what keeps them stuck. Because the second you let your emotions take over, you lose focus. You stop looking for solutions. You stop thinking clearly. And that's exactly why most people give up. They're too focused on how they feel, instead of what needs to be done. But here's the thing. How you feel doesn't matter. Success doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're frustrated. It doesn't care if things didn't go the way you planned. The only thing that matters is whether you keep going, whether you stay locked in on your goals, or let temporary emotions knock you off course. So if you want to be different, if you want to be someone who actually achieves something, you have to develop the discipline to push through, no matter what. You have to train yourself to control your emotions, instead of letting them control you. When you hit an obstacle, don't react emotionally. Don't get caught up in frustration. Take a deep breath, step back, and ask yourself, what's the next move? How do I solve this? What's the most effective way to handle this problem? And then take action immediately. Don't hesitate. Don't second guess yourself. The faster you move, the faster you break through. And here's the most important part. You have to do this every single time. It has to become a habit. Because obstacles aren't going anywhere. Problems aren't going anywhere. Life is always going to test you. And the people who succeed, they're the ones who get used to that. They're the ones who stop expecting things to be easy. They're the ones who train themselves to be unshakable. That's the mindset you need. A no-nonsense, no excuses, no complaints approach to obstacles. Because when you stop making excuses, when you stop hesitating, when you stop letting temporary frustration control you, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when you start winning. And once you develop that mindset, nothing can stop you again. Number 6, build mental strength through small wins. Every big achievement starts small. Every strong mind is built, piece by piece, with small victories that stack up over time. But most people miss this. They think mental strength comes from a single dramatic moment, one big breakthrough, one life-changing decision. That's not how it works. Mental toughness isn't something you wake up with one day. It's built through daily battles, small wins, and the discipline to keep showing up when no one is watching. The reason most people struggle is that they don't value small wins. They only respect big accomplishments. They think if they're not making massive progress, then they're failing. And that mindset is exactly what keeps them stuck. Because success, whether it's in your career, your health, your mindset, or your discipline, comes down to one thing: consistency. It's not about how motivated you feel today. It's about whether you keep pushing even when motivation fades. Every time you push yourself just a little bit further, you're building mental strength. Every time you do something hard, even when you don't feel like it, you're making yourself tougher. And those small wins, they add up. They create momentum. They turn you into someone who refuses to quit. But if you're always looking for instant results, if you're always chasing shortcuts, you'll never develop real strength. Because strength comes from struggle. It comes from doing the work, even when you don't see immediate results. Think about a workout. If you go to the gym once and lift heavy weights, are you suddenly strong? Of course not. Strength comes from repeated effort, from showing up again and again, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, even when progress is slow. And mental toughness works the same way. You don't just decide to be strong one day and suddenly become unstoppable. You build that strength through small daily wins. It's waking up early when you want to sleep in. It's choosing discipline over comfort, one decision at a time. It's finishing that task even when your mind is telling you to quit. It's getting through that difficult conversation, pushing past that self-doubt, proving to yourself over and over that you can handle more than you think. And each time you do that, you get stronger. Each time you win that small battle, your mind becomes tougher. But most people don't realize this. They get discouraged when they don't see immediate results. They think if they're not making massive progress, then they're wasting their time. That's why so many people give up before they ever see success. Because they don't understand that every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. they don't see the power of small wins. When you train your mind to celebrate small victories, everything changes. You stop getting discouraged by slow progress. You stop quitting when things get hard. Because you understand that every challenge, every obstacle, every tiny bit of effort is building something inside you, something unshakable. And when you embrace that process, when you stop chasing quick results and start valuing small wins, that's when you truly become dangerous. That's when your mindset shifts from someone who hopes to win to someone who refuses to lose. The key is to set yourself up for wins every day. Not big wins, small ones. If you're trying to develop discipline, don't start with massive, unrealistic goals. Start small. Wake up 5 minutes earlier. Push yourself for just one more rep. Read for 10 minutes instead of scrolling on your phone. Just prove to yourself that you can do the little things right. Because if you can win the small battles, you can win the big ones. And here's the most important part. When you win, recognize it. Acknowledge it. Most people brush off their small achievements because they don't think they matter. But that's the biggest mistake you can make, because confidence comes from proof. The more proof you have that you can push through, the more you believe in yourself. The more you believe in yourself, the more unstoppable you become. So don't wait for some big moment to prove your strength. Start proving it today, in the smallest ways possible. Because those small wins, they're the foundation of something much bigger. They're the bricks that build an unbreakable mindset. And when you master the small wins, the big wins take care of themselves. Number 7. Believe that you will overcome. There comes a point in life when everything seems to be working against you. The obstacles feel bigger than you. The setbacks seem relentless. And in those moments, doubt starts creeping in. Maybe you've tried and failed so many times that you've started questioning whether success is even possible for you. Maybe you've faced so much resistance that you've begun wondering if the universe is sending you a message to just give up. But let me tell you something. Life is not trying to break you. It's trying to build you. Every challenge, every setback, every difficult moment is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. But here's the problem. Most people don't believe that. They let their failures define them. They let their hardships convince them that they're not good enough, not strong enough, not capable enough. They let temporary struggles turn into permanent excuses. And that's why they never overcome. Because before you can win in life, you have to believe that you can. You have to believe deep in your soul that no matter how many times you fall, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, you will overcome. Belief is not some feel-good idea. It's not about blind optimism or wishful thinking. It's about deciding right now that nothing will stop you. That no matter how many times you fail, you will get back up. That no matter how long it takes, you will keep pushing forward. Because the truth is, your belief in yourself is the foundation of everything. If you don't believe you can overcome, you won't even try. If you don't believe you can succeed, you won't take action. If you don't believe you can change your life, you will stay stuck exactly where you are. Look at anyone who has ever achieved greatness, anyone who has ever turned their life around, built something incredible, or overcome impossible odds. Do you think they never faced failure? Do you think they never doubted themselves? Of course they did. But they pushed through anyway. Because they made a decision. They decided that failure was final. They decided that no setback was stronger than their determination. They decided that no matter how hard it got, they would keep moving forward. And that's exactly what you have to do. Because the truth is, nothing in life is permanent. Not failure, not pain, not struggle. Everything can be changed. Everything can be overcome. But only if you believe it. Only if you refuse to accept defeat. Only if you decide that you are stronger than your circumstances. And that decision, it starts today. It starts right now. Maybe you've been struggling for years. Maybe you've tried and failed more times than you can count. Maybe you feel like you're at your breaking point. But here's what you need to understand. You are not finished. This is not the end of your story. This is just a chapter. And you have the power to turn the page. But you have to believe it. You have to believe that no matter how hard things get, you are capable of rising above them. You have to believe that no matter how many times you fall, you can stand back up. You have to believe that no matter how impossible it seems, you will find a way. Because the people who win in life are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who never quit. They are the ones who keep moving forward, even when everything is telling them to stop. They are the ones who refuse to let failure define them. And if you can adopt that mindset, if you can train yourself to believe without a doubt that you will overcome, then nothing can stop you. The key is to stop looking at your struggles as proof that you're failing and start seeing them as proof that you're growing. Every challenge is an opportunity to get stronger. Every setback is a chance to learn. Every difficulty is preparing you for something greater. But if you let those challenges break you, if you let them convince you that you're not good enough, not strong enough, not capable enough, you will never reach the success that's waiting for you. So right now, make a decision. Decide that no matter what happens, you will keep going. Decide that no matter how hard it gets, you will not quit. Decide that no matter how many times you fail, you will rise again. Because if you can do that, if you can hold on to that belief, then nothing in this world can stop you. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they give up too soon. They fail because they let doubt win. They fail because they don't believe in themselves. But you are not like most people. You are stronger than that. You are tougher than that. You are built to overcome. And if you can hold on to that belief, if you can remind yourself every single day that no challenge is stronger than your will to succeed, then you will find a way. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, you will rise. Because that's what winners do. Number 8, turn setbacks into a psychological weapon. There will come a time in your life when everything seems to go wrong. You put in the work, but the results don't come. You take a risk, but it backfires. You fight for something, but in the end you lose. And in that moment, most people break. Most people take setbacks personally. They see failure as proof that they're not good enough, that they're not meant for success, that life is just unfair. But that's not the truth. The truth is, setbacks are not the enemy. Setbacks are not there to destroy you. They are there to make you stronger. The problem is, most people don't know how to use setbacks the right way. They take every loss as a personal attack. They get discouraged. They lose confidence. They hesitate the next time they try. And eventually, they stop trying altogether. But that's not how winners operate. That's not how people who succeed think. The ones who make it to the top, the ones who rise from nothing, who achieve the impossible, who turn their dreams into reality, they don't let setbacks define them. They weaponize them. A setback can do one of two things. It can break you, or it can build you. It can make you weaker, or it can make you sharper. It can make you doubt yourself, or it can make you more dangerous than ever. And that choice, it's entirely yours. Most people don't realize this, but setbacks are one of the most powerful psychological weapons you will ever have, if you use them right. Because every time you fail, you gain something. You gain experience. You gain resilience. You gain wisdom. But most importantly, you gain an edge. You see, pain changes people. Hardship transforms people. Struggle turns ordinary individuals into unstoppable forces, but only if they let it. Think about it. Every great fighter, every great leader, every great success story is built on setbacks. The people who change the world, the people who leave a legacy, the people who rise from nothing, they didn't get there because everything went smoothly. They got there because they faced setback after setback, failure after failure, rejection after rejection, and they kept going anyway. They didn't run from adversity. They used it as fuel. They didn't cry about their losses. They studied them. They didn't let their defeats break them. They let them sharpen them. That's the difference. That's the mindset you need. Because once you start seeing setbacks as a weapon, once you start realizing that every loss is actually making you stronger, you become unstoppable. Suddenly, failure doesn't scare you anymore. Rejection doesn't slow you down. Obstacles don't discourage you. Because you know deep down that every time life knocks you down, it's actually handing you the tools to rise even higher. But most people don't think this way. Most people get hit once and never recover. They let one failure define them. They let one rejection make them quit. They let one bad moment convince them that success isn't for them. And that's why most people never make it. Because they don't understand that setbacks are just part of the process. They don't realize that every loss is just training. Every failure is just preparation. Every setback is just another stepping stone on the path to victory. You have to start seeing things differently. You have to start looking at every failure as an opportunity. You have to start treating every setback as a lesson. You have to start using every loss as motivation to come back stronger. Because the truth is, success is not about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. It's about refusing to let anything keep you down. It's about looking adversity in the eye and saying, "Is that all you got?" If you can adopt this mindset, if you can train yourself to see setbacks as a psychological weapon rather than a personal defeat, you will become dangerous. You will become the kind of person that nothing can break. The kind of person that failure only makes stronger. The kind of person that keeps getting back up, no matter how many times they fall. And let me tell you, when you reach that point, when you stop fearing failure, when you stop getting discouraged by setbacks, when you start using every loss as fuel, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Because at that point, you don't just have skill, you don't just have talent, you have something far more powerful. You have an unshakable mindset, a mindset that cannot be broken, a mindset that guarantees success, no matter how long it takes. So the next time you fail, don't get discouraged. The next time you face a setback, don't take it personally. Instead, step back and ask yourself, what did this teach me? How can I use this to my advantage? How can I turn this loss into fuel for my next win? And then apply that lesson. Use that fuel. Let that setback turn you into a smarter, tougher, more determined version of yourself. Because when you do that, you are no longer just someone who faces obstacles. You are someone who turns obstacles into power. You are no longer just someone who experiences failure. You are someone who transforms failure into a psychological weapon. And that is how you win. Number 9. Learn to withstand the storm without losing direction. Life is unpredictable. One day everything seems to be going your way, and the next you're caught in a storm so fierce it feels like it's tearing everything apart. That's how life works. The storms will come. The setbacks will hit. The unexpected challenges will shake you to your core. And in those moments, most people lose their way. They get so caught up in the chaos, so overwhelmed by the struggle, that they forget where they were headed in the first place. But if you want to win, if you want to reach the heights you were meant for, you must learn to withstand the storm without losing direction. Most people panic when life gets tough. They let fear take over. They start making emotional decisions. They lose sight of their goals, and that's exactly why they fail. Because when the storm comes, it's not just about surviving. It's about keeping your focus. It's about holding on to your vision. It's about making sure that no matter how strong the winds are, no matter how much pressure you feel, no matter how much life tries to shake you, you stay locked in on where you're going. The truth is, success isn't determined by how well you perform when everything is easy. Anybody can stay motivated when life is good. Anybody can move forward when the sun is shining, when the path is clear, when everything is going their way. But the real test, the real measure of who you are, it comes when the storm hits. It comes when life throws everything it has at you. It comes when nothing is working. When you feel like you're drowning, when you have every reason to give up, and you keep going anyway. This is what separates the ones who succeed from the ones who don't. The ones who rise above, the ones who achieve their dreams, the ones who refuse to settle for mediocrity. They don't crumble when things get hard. They don't let the storm push them off course. They hold the line. They stand firm. They keep moving forward, even when every step feels like a battle. And the reason they can do this, the reason they don't lose direction, even when everything is falling apart, it's because they've trained for it. They've built a mindset that can withstand the storm. They've conditioned themselves to keep their eyes on the goal, no matter how much chaos is happening around them. And that's what you have to do. You have to learn to be unshakable. You have to develop the ability to stay calm when everything is collapsing. You have to become the kind of person who, when the storm comes, doesn't panic, doesn't lose focus, doesn't get discouraged, but instead tightens their grip and keeps pushing forward with even more determination. Because here's what most people don't realize. The storm isn't there to stop you. The storm is there to shape you. It's there to make you stronger. It's there to prepare you for what's coming. It's there to force you to level up. Every single person who has ever achieved something great had to go through a storm to get there. They had to face uncertainty. They had to deal with setbacks. They had to endure struggles that would have broken the average person. But they didn't let the storm defeat them. They used it. They took every difficulty, every painful experience, every moment of doubt, and they turned it into power. They let the adversity sharpen them. They let the hardship toughen them. They let the pressure mold them into the kind of person who couldn't be stopped. And that's exactly what you have to do. When the storm comes, and it will, you have to make a choice. You can either let it break you, or you can let it build you. You can either let it push you off course, or you can use it to fuel your journey. You can either let it destroy your confidence, or you can let it prove to you just how strong you really are. And if you choose the right path, if you choose to stand firm, to stay locked in, to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult things get, then not only will you survive the storm, but you will come out on the other side stronger than ever. Because here's the truth. The storm doesn't last forever. It might feel like it will. It might seem like it's never ending. But it always passes. And when it does, the question is, where will you be? Will you have given up? Will you have let it push you off track? Will you have allowed the difficulties to make you quit? Or will you be standing tall, unshaken, ready to keep pushing forward toward the life you were meant for? That choice is yours. But if you want to win, if you want to build something great, if you want to create a life that others only dream of, then you must train yourself to keep your direction. No matter how fierce the storm gets, you must condition your mind to stay locked in on your goals. Even when everything around you is uncertain, you must develop the ability to keep going when most people would stop. And if you do that, if you become the kind of person who doesn't just survive the storm, but thrives in it, then there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stop you. Because at that point, you are no longer just someone who is chasing success. You are someone who is destined for it. Number 10, redefine difficult as a necessary growth phase. There comes a moment in every person's life when they hit a wall. A moment when everything feels overwhelming, when the weight of the struggle seems unbearable, when every step forward feels like walking through quicksand. And in that moment, most people break. Most people throw up their hands and say, "This is too hard." They retreat. They quit. They tell themselves that maybe success isn't meant for them after all. But the ones who win, the ones who truly rise above, they understand something that most people don't. They know that what most call difficult isn't a dead end. It isn't a sign to stop. It's a necessary phase of growth. Everything you want in life, every goal, every dream, every vision of success exists on the other side of difficulty. There is no way around it. There is no shortcut. There is no easy path. If you are serious about becoming the best version of yourself, then you must redefine difficult in your mind. Because difficult is not your enemy. Difficult is not an obstacle meant to stop you. Difficult is the price you pay for greatness. Think about anything worthwhile in life. Anything. Building a strong body, it's difficult. Developing a sharp mind, it's difficult. Creating a successful career, it's difficult. Mastering a skill, it's difficult. And that's why most people don't have these things. Not because they're impossible, not because they require some special talent, but because most people aren't willing to embrace the difficulty. They see struggle and turn back. They see resistance and quit. They assume that if something is hard, it means it's not meant to be. And that mindset is the very thing that keeps them stuck where they are. Because here's the truth. The struggle is not a sign that you should stop. The struggle is proof that you are growing. It's proof that you are stepping outside of your comfort zone. It's proof that you are becoming someone new. And that transformation, that process of breaking down the old version of yourself, so that a stronger, sharper, wiser version can emerge. That is exactly what you need in order to reach the level you're aiming for. You must rewire your mind to see difficulty as a sign that you are on the right path. When things feel overwhelming, when the pressure is on, when you are being tested in ways you never have before, that's not life working against you. That's life shaping you. That's life making sure you are strong enough to handle what you are asking for. Because here's what most people don't realize. Success is not about just reaching a destination. It's about becoming the kind of person who can sustain that success. And that requires growth. That requires hardship. That requires going through phases of difficulty that force you to evolve. Think about anyone who has ever achieved something great. They didn't get there by avoiding difficulty. They got there by embracing it, by leaning into the challenge, by understanding that every obstacle, every hardship, every setback was molding them into the person they needed to be. And because of that, they didn't just survive difficulty. They used it. They used it as fuel. They used it as proof that they were on the right path. They used it as a stepping stone toward the life they were building. And that's exactly what you must do. You must stop seeing difficulty as something to fear and start seeing it as something to master. You must stop avoiding struggle and start welcoming it. You must stop wishing for things to be easier and start becoming stronger. Because if you wait for the road to be smooth, you will wait forever. If you wait for success to feel effortless, you will never get there. If you wait for growth to be comfortable, you will stay exactly where you are. Every time you face something difficult, remind yourself, this is not a roadblock. This is a necessary phase. This is proof that you are being stretched beyond your limits. This is evidence that you are evolving. And if you can hold that mindset, if you can refuse to break when most people would, then you will become unstoppable. Because at that point, difficulty is no longer something you fear. It is something you seek. It is something you use. It is something that sets you apart from the masses, who crumble under the very same pressure that will elevate you. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about the way they view struggle. It's about the way they respond to difficulty. It's about the way they refuse to be intimidated by the process of growth. Because that's all difficulty. It is the refining process. It is the fire that sharpens you. It is the test that ensures that when you reach your destination, you are ready to handle everything that comes with it. So the next time you feel like quitting, the next time you feel overwhelmed, the next time you wonder if you're on the right path, remind yourself, this is necessary. This is part of the journey. This is proof that you are on the edge of a breakthrough. And instead of retreating, instead of shrinking back, instead of giving in to the doubts that tell you to stop, lean in, push forward, step into the difficulty, with the knowledge that every ounce of struggle is making you stronger, sharper, and more prepared for the success that is waiting for you on the other side. Because at the end of the day, you don't just want success, you want to be the kind of person who can hold on to it. And that version of you, that version is built through difficulty. That version is shaped in the fire. That version is forged in the very moments that most people run from. But you are not most people. You are someone who is willing to go through the necessary phases of growth. You are someone who is willing to embrace the struggle. You are someone who understands that difficulty is not the enemy. It is the pathway to everything you have ever wanted. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who win battles we know nothing about. Think about that. The people who succeed, who rise above difficulty, who turn struggles into strength. They weren't born with some special ability. They built it. They went through the storms. They felt the pain. They wanted to quit, but they didn't. They kept going. And because of that, they became unshakable. Now it's your turn. Whatever you're facing right now, whatever feels impossible, whatever is pushing you to your limits, this is not where you stop. This is where you grow. This is where you prove to yourself that you're stronger than the struggle. Don't let temporary difficulty make you forget who you are and what you're capable of. When things get hard, when you feel like quitting, remind yourself, this is a test of patience, of resilience, of character, and the only way to fail is to give up. But that's not who you are. You are someone who keeps going. You are someone who finds a way. You are someone who will look back one day and say, I made it through. So take the lessons, take the strength, take everything this challenge is trying to teach you, and use it. Because every difficulty you overcome is another step toward the person you were meant to become. And trust me, your future self will thank you for not giving up today.